Hello, 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 hello.
No,
hello.
ma'am.
Bruh.
No
What?
infringing on my sing-song hello.
I'm trying to do a
Stick
show.
to your number counting, your ABCs,
Really, Miss Glam?
whatever it is. But the
Miss Glam.
hello, hello, hello belongs to moi.
To Miss Glam?
Yes.
Fine. Hello, world.
Better.
Okay, that was Miss Glam. I'm Mohazel, and this is Badass Besties. Besides you getting mad that I'm infringing on you, how are you doing today?
I am great. It is episode
40.
the age of tech support.
Aww. He's not even engaging us at this point.
He's mad he's old.
Damn near, huh? He's not really 40, but damn near. You know, I
Couple
like
of
him
months
older.
away. Oh, not even a couple months away.
You know, I
a
like him
month
older.
away.
He's-
A month away.
He hates that he can't talk. Listen. Yes. So how are you feeling? This is 40 episodes deep.
I know.
Are you still loving it? Crickets.
I'm
huh?
just doing that for you.
I know,
yes,
I know.
actually I do.
Well, I enjoy it too, Pumpkin.
Don't pumpkin me.
I'm just going to bring out all the things you hate on this episode.
Uh,
Are you ready to get into it?
yes.
All right, let's get into it. Weekly Delight. It's where we take a person, place, or thing, inspirational quote. It can be a book. It can be a book boyfriend. It can be just whatever is keeping us pumped and getting us through the week. And with that being said, Miss Glam, you're up first.
My weekly delight this week is my new Apple Watch, particularly
What?
my activity linkage between you and my sissy.
Yeah.
It's making me be very, very active because I'm very competitive.
Yeah, listen, man. I don't like check your phone, check your watch. And then I see you pop up on it. And then when I realized Miss Glam is very fit and in the exercise, let me close these rings real fast and show her up. So I literally am now walking around my coworkers and they're just like, sit down. And I'm like, you don't understand. I gotta just do this. Miss Glam is looking at the watch and I gotta stay ahead and calories burned over her. So indirectly, touche, I am now getting up and doing more. So it did work,
See?
but all for petty.
Honestly, because I work in a separate building than the majority of the people who at my facility, I'm constantly walking over there now because I think it usually tracks about a 4 to 5 minute workout because the brisk walk and my heartbeat gets up.
Sure.
So I do that at least 3 times a day now, like guaranteed. And I try to go over there. I find reasons to go
Is
over
it just
there.
to like one up us?
Yes.
You know, listen, there's new levels to petty. And it's just because of our Apple Watches. This is great. I love it. But
I'm
I
still
thank you.
Team Android.
Yeah, so, okay, let's talk about it. I know you were excited about your new iPhone, but
Yes.
now you got this Apple Watch. You're like almost you like literally both feet in the Apple cold.
I know.
How are you feeling? Like,
No, I'm still Team Android.
but you're just like giving all your coins
I
to
know.
like Apple right now.
It makes it easier. I will admit, between coordinating between my phone and the niece's phone, it is simple. But I had my work phone for that anyway, because my work is Apple.
Double fisting.
It does make it easier with it all being Apple.
Yes.
But I'm still Team Android.
Cheating on the Android.
I know, but like
And
the
you
ringtone.
can't tell
How-
Apple that it's over. That's what it sounds like.
No, but like the ringtone. Why can't I make my own ringtones? Very simple. Android didn't give me any trouble. Apple
can't
makes
explain
it
that
near
for you.
impossible.
I can't explain that for you, but my answer is because Apple wants all your money.
I know that is the answer.
And that might very well be the only answer.
And all the extra gadgets I had to get, a headphone jack,
Every
all
time.
this, I swear.
Apple wants all your money. It's a cult. But that is a cool gadget. And so to be clear, Miss Glam is balling because on one wrist is her Fitbit and on the other wrist is her Apple Watch. You are balling.
No.
You got your money.
My Fitbit still tracks my sleep, and my Fitbit is on my non-dominant arm, so it really tracks my movement better than the Apple Watch. Plus, the battery life on the Apple Watch sucks.
It sounds like rich people problems. That's what I'm hearing.
I need
Rich
something to
problem
track my
number
sleep.
105.
You got your money.
No, I need something to track my sleep. That just holds me accountable to make sure I get what I agreed upon is 6 hours and 15 minutes. That's my goal.
You know, I tease you a lot, but I will say you are very much making your health a priority. So I'm proud of you for
Trying.
that. However, sounds like rich people problems.
You got your money.
Yeah. How many Apple phones do you
Listen,
have?
that's tech support. I am cool with the one. I might break down and get the new one. I don't know yet because that camera was dope sauce. But
Yes.
if I get that, then I'm done until it breaks.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I don't even know. Okay. Well, I like your weekly delight. Well, my weekly delight is just like a state of mind. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I usually try to partake in a few activities this month just because, you know, my mommy was a breast cancer survivor. It really changed my world. That was the first time that I was exposed to this thing that we call cancer, and it sucks. And my mom was such a great fighter, and I just always wanted to make sure that I celebrate October in that way in honor of her and all those that have survived and those who fought but didn't make it. Because for me to have my mom here still on this earth, it's like a cool thing. I thought I wasn't. You know, when you hear that word cancer, you don't realize they could be gone tomorrow. So I'm very fortunate. She's actually a 20 plus year survivor. I'm super excited. And we actually kicked off this month by going to a symposium type event. It kind of talked about all the new and latest technologies that, you know, kind of help discover cancer sooner, and just meeting some cool people that are super excited to be survivors and super excited to fight. And it's always fun. It's a good month.
No, I can't top your weekly delight.
But wait, now I know once upon a time with me, you used to do like the breast cancer walks with me, and now you are actually going to do it with your sissy this year, correct?
I am.
So that's something to partake in some of the festivities this month. And how cool does it feel to watch your sissy make this team and lead the pack to where you and your family can like show up, show out to support?
I know. She had shirts made, the whole family, the nieces and the aunts, which that's a lot of us. We're all gonna walk with her. It's actually turned to a big old family event.
It's a tradition. You don't even know that this is the inaugural year for a tradition.
Yes.
And I used to do it every year. I've slimmed down that, and I am super excited that your sister's taking over. So that way I feel like we can just pass the baton to her and let her do that big fight, and I'm here to support. Is she taking donations in honor of her team?
I think she
Let me
did
know.
a page.
We can
I
talk
need
off
to
air,
ask.
but we can talk off air, but if she is, if not, I gave you a goodie bag to give to her. I'm saying that on air so she can hear.
That's my goodie bag.
I gave her a goodie bag to give to you.
So the goodie bag, sissy. The goodie bag has 2 items in it.
No, it's got a lot of stuff for the whole fam bam. But yeah, anyways, so that's what's up. So Miss Glam, are you ready to get into the topic?
I'm ready. What is the topic?
Okay, so as you know, this is episode 40. And it's a big episode, you know, and soon we'll be on the 50 and 100, but we gotta take advantage of these iconic episodes. So in honor of Badass Besties, why not dive into iconic TV Besties? Boom. What do you think?
Who is your favorite TV bestie?
Oh, man. Listen, if we're gonna go there, can we start right off the bat with Living Single?
Those are your favorite TV besties?
Listen, okay, here's why. That was the show that I liked because it was the first time that I saw it was an almost all women lead cast.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Golden Girls, and we can get into that a little later, but these were cool. They were brown girls, you know, and they all had these different personalities. And while I don't, you know how I feel, I don't like putting women in a box of, okay, you guys are Sinclairs and you guys are Regines. I don't like that, but I just love that it just highlighted that Black women have different layers and different personalities. And it was the first time that I remember growing up where Black women weren't stereotyped as being one particular way, angry all the time. And none of these ladies were angry. You know, I'm not saying they didn't get mad at shit, but they lived their life and beat to their own drum, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? What was your favorite dynamic on that show? Because there's a couple different relationships.
I think I like Khadijah and Max dynamic.
I love me some Max.
Yeah.
You remind me of Max. You got your stuff together. You don't have to take no ish, so.
Well, I mooch wine off you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Because I like Khadijah. I like to think I'm a Khadijah. But okay. Yes. We can do that. Let's dive into Khadijah and Max. So what is it that, in your opinion, made their relationship special?
If I'm not mistaken, they met in college?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Just the dynamic of, you know, they met as adults where they've already kind of formulated who they're going to be.
Right.
And they meshed, and Khadijah has her own business, but, you know, Max is a lawyer trying to become partner and things like that. So they were friends, but they each had their own careers and they were supporting each other.
Yes. So piggybacking off that, you know what I loved about them individually? They were both boss ladies in their careers. So, and that's how kind of her and Kyle got along because they're ultra professional, right? But Khadijah, you know, she had her own magazine company that she started on her own, Flavor magazine. And yet what I loved about it is they're both corporate, but yet they were true to their personality, to what made them, you know, special as a Black female.
And they celebrated each other.
And
it was never a competition.
It was never who's got more money than who. Because I'm assumingly Max probably had more money.
She didn't act like it.
She's always mooching off Khadijah, coming over, getting her snacks. But she did possibly have more money than Khadijah. Because Khadijah was always tight. I remember sometimes
she run a business.
Yeah, exactly. And yet Khadijah never brought up money in any aspect of that relationship. Like, why are you over my house eating my snacks? You going to contribute? Or shouldn't you be donating to me because you make more? You never heard that conversation.
That was just Regine's job.
Oh, Regine. You know what's so funny? I really do feel I'm a Khadijah and I feel like you're a Max. To our essence, but I think the stereotype is you're Regine and I'm Sinclair.
Probably.
Would that be accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Sinclair because I can be a little ditzy and hippie-ish and kumbaya, and Regine seems materialistic, and on the surface, people might think you are, but you're so much deeper than that. You like your things, okay? To be clear, she got 2 watches, okay?
Really?
On her arm, to be clear. But you're so much more than that.
They serve a purpose.
Okay, just like Regine's wigs served a purpose. She had like 50 million wigs.
That's true.
Each served a purpose. Although, did she ever repeat a wig on the show?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so
Interesting.
Either.
Now, I know with Regine and Khadijah, they were a little catty, but not like that. Not the typical cattiness.
But I think that comes from growing up with each other.
Yes, they act like sisters.
Yeah, so I think I like that dynamic because, you know, their moms were friends. They grew up together.
I mean, tight as thieves their moms were.
There's different when you grow up with someone because that person knew you before you knew yourself, knew who you were going to be. So no one's the exact same person they were when they were 5.
Yeah, and I don't think it's, with their dynamic, I don't think it's judging each other. I think it's just calling each other on each other's shit.
Yeah, and it's just because you know each other so well that you can tell, even if that person doesn't know, hasn't recognized a behavior in themselves that they're acting out or acting out of character or doing something they would normally do. Like that person who has been your friend for so long can tell you or will recognize it before sometimes you recognize in yourself.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I love that show.
Yes.
You know, I was listening to something, and the guy who played Overton, he was talking about they were the inspiration for Friends. Can you believe that?
Really?
Living Single was the inspiration for Friends.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Obviously, I think they both were successful in their own way. So, okay, so let's move on to another relationship. So that was mine. What about you?
My favorite?
Yeah, your favorite TV friendship. It could be circle or duo, whatever. But just where you saw these cool bestie relationships going down?
Oh, it's so many. Now,
We're going to dive in a couple of them. So.
I know. I think I liked the movie better than the TV show, but Clueless was one of my favorites.
Oh, as if.
I know we talked about TV Besties, but technically that counts because they were a
No,
TV
yeah,
show. You
they
brought
were
that
a
up,
TV
yeah.
show, but I don't know if the
The
TV
movie
show
is more iconic.
Yeah, because I don't think the TV show really
I agree.
got the
They tried.
Yeah, they tried, but the
Yeah.
chemistry wasn't there between those two characters
And
like
they-
it was in the movies.
Yeah, and like I think one or two characters bled over. So for argument purposes, I'll let you go there because it was a TV show,
Yes.
but I know we're talking about Stacey Dash, Alicia Silverstone as Cher and Dion. Like
Yes.
that dynamic. I'm assuming you're talking about
Yes.
Cher and Dion. Okay, so what was it about their friendship? Which is so interesting. I wasn't going to expect you to pick it, but knowing you, whatever. Yeah, that could be up your lane. So I'm with it. Go ahead. But
and
what
I
is it
guess
about it?
It was just, they had their, their insecurities, but like they were the height of the popular girls, but like they weren't the mean girls. Does that make sense?
A couple things that I like that you said there before you go further. They dealt with their insecurities.
They
Here
did.
they are, these two beautiful girls that everybody wanted to hang around, and yet you got to see publicly them talk about their flaws. So that's
Yes.
one. And then two, the fact that with them two, they weren't mean girls like you said.
No.
Now, don't get me wrong. They were immature.
Yes, but they're
But
in high
they're
school.
teenagers.
Yes.
Immaturity can sometimes be mistaken by another person as being a mean girl, but to their core, they were never mean girls. And I love that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
And then just the dynamic of, at the end of the day, they were always down for each other.
Yeah.
She had her boyfriend and things like that. Dion had her boyfriend, but at the end of the day,
Murray.
yes, it was Cher and Dion.
Yeah, and you know what I loved about it too? When you have a guy in your world, you want your girl to like the guy, or at the very least be honest, like, hey, I'm really feeling this guy. What do you think? And they always like kept it in check with each other, because I remember Cher always checking her about Murray. And then like when Cher was dating around, Dion never had no problem putting her 2 cents in regard to, are you really with that guy? I definitely respect that. You always want someone who is going to be honest.
Yes.
Would you say that about me? I'm pretty honest about your boyfriends. Go ahead.
Now you are.
Wait, what do you? Oh, see, that's not fair.
Now
That's that
you
one
are.
time, and that's all you need. I
Okay.
get it. But okay.
Now you are. And I get it. Lesson learned.
But okay.
I get your reasoning, but
No, that's not what I was gonna say. But
Oh.
like in regard to the other boyfriends, I kept it pretty honest, right?
yeah, I think so.
Right? I was
Yeah.
just very mean, but I think I was accurate, right? No, I'm asking real talk.
Yeah.
Even though I was very mean and hard up, I'm supposed to act like the big sister, right? I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed
Yeah, you
to
were never inappropriate.
challenge them a little bit.
Yeah, you were never inappropriate.
But I was very appropriate. Yeah. I kept it in check. But I was mean sometimes, not mean spirited, but I was tough.
I think
but
I was meaner
rightfully
tech
so, right?
support. I think I was meaner tech
Oh
support.
gosh, yeah, you were definitely. You know what? For all the guys that I were mean to, you and tech support's dynamic in the beginning was so much more intense than all
I
of
know.
yours combined. That's awesome. That's what's up. All right, I mentioned Golden Girls.
Thank you for being a friend.
Oh, yeah.
Travel down the road and back
Hey,
again.
so we started from the bottom, now we're here, girl.
What's up with the Golden Girls?
I
Are you a
did.
Golden
No,
Girls
I
fan?
binged them all the time sometimes.
Did you?
Well, not
do you
all
like
the time
them more
sometimes.
when
but
you were younger? Because I know we've been
I watched
exposed
them
to
a lot with my grandma. So when I watch them, it's a reminiscing of that time. Because
Right.
we would curl up on her bed and watch them together.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I guess just, it just reminds me of that closeness I had with my grandma. Even though it's a good show, like it's funny.
Oh,
like
it's so
even
funny.
now I can relate to it.
You know what's so funny? I feel, because I watched it with my grandma too. I feel like if you watched that show with your grandma was gangster. Now, because hear me out. Because it's like when you're watching that show as a kid, you don't realize that they are scandalous. You know what I'm saying? Like they were Sex in the City before Sex in the City. Okay,
That's
so
true.
you know what I'm saying? Before Samantha, there was a Blanche. You know what I'm saying? And your grandma's just letting you watching this. I know she knows what they're talking about, and yet she lets you watch all of that. And then when you're an adult, damn, Damn, I didn't know Blanche had like 50 million boyfriends, and Rose be getting it too. Like, and then the Stan and the Dorothy going back and forth.
Yeah.
And you didn't realize that as a kid. You were just like, these funny old ladies.
Yeah, it was just funny.
But the relationship that I liked the most was Dorothy and Blanche. Only because they were so different from each other.
Yeah, they were.
And yet their needs were the same. They didn't like being alone.
Mm-hmm.
They were very independent.
That was true.
Blanche, debatable. But for the most part, technically she was living alone for a while. And she owns her home, and she was able to support them living in her home, even though they were roommates. But I'm sure there's stuff that they weren't all paying for. Even though they were petty with each other. You know, they really got each other, and they really
supported each other. At the end of the day, they really supported each other.
So who do you think you were on the show?
Between Dorothy, Blanche, and Rose?
Or Sophia now. Don't count Sophia out. I'm not saying you are.
I know.
But, you know.
I guess maybe it would be Sophia, the mother hen.
Because she's so gangster. And a mother hen. Wow. All right. I thought you would have picked Dorothy. Sophia. All right. That's what's up.
Yeah. And I guess because, like, she was the mother hen to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I end up being the mother hen, making sure everybody's okay.
That is so true. I get it. I now will see you as
Sophia,
the little old lady
really?
with the glasses. And the little purse.
And she was the youngest.
And she was the youngest in real life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
Just like I'm the youngest.
And yet, you know who I liked? I thought I was a Dorothy. Now, I know you will say, oh, you're a Rose. No, I'm not. F you. Dorothy, I think, was very smart, right? And she was always...
She was a teacher.
Yeah, but she wasn't always smart when it came to life decisions on certain things. I don't think I always have it together. I'll admit that. Like, I'm a work in progress. Never doubt her. She comes through. But sometimes she made some choices that you're like, why are you getting back with Stan? Or, you know, why are you doing this over here? Why are you putting your mom in a home? Just get out. You know, sometimes you question the choices, but you never doubted that she was a strong woman and that she was smart.
Yeah.
And she never let her choices be defining of her character.
That's true.
You know what I mean? You, like, no matter what, she did some dumb shit. Or she could handle her own.
I mean, most people make mistakes. That's part of life.
Yeah, sure. Oh, so technically, when we didn't even know what we'd pick, that's a really interesting relationship too, that mother-daughter relationship, right?
Yeah.
Because most people, not everybody has it to where their mom is their best friend. And I think even though they were catty with each other, Sophia would call her on her shit.
Yeah.
You know.
And she would call her mom on hers.
Oh, exactly. Like, they kept it real with each other. And even though they toyed with each other, Sophia loved her daughter as a person. Not just because she was her daughter, but as a person.
Yeah.
And I think Dorothy loved her just as much back.
Yeah. I mean, that's obvious. The fact that she's, you know, living with her. And I mean, she was taking care of her, but not taking care of her. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, because Sophia had boyfriends too.
Yeah.
Sophia will be having a social life as well. Sometimes more than Dorothy.
Yeah.
I jumped into Golden Girls. What's another TV show dynamic that you like?
Girlfriend.
My girlfriends, they're through thick and thin. My girlfriends, they're for anything. My girlfriend.
I love Girlfriends.
I think with Girlfriends, that was just like, after living single, we had such a void. And I think that just filled the void of that feeling of just these defining, iconic personalities that people could relate to, whether it was a brown girl looking at the TV and smiling, or just a woman in general. Yeah, for sure. Girlfriend.
Who are you on Girlfriends? Most similar.
I would have to mosh that up.
Yeah, me too. That's one thing, is they were so different.
Even more so than Living Single.
Yeah.
You know, they were so much more modernized.
They took the personalities and made them extreme.
It's so extreme.
But one thing just the friendship dynamic, I guess I don't know if they were true friends. Does that make sense?
Really?
Like,
no, keep going.
No, from the sense of
I know you watch the show more than me, so I trust you on this.
No, just they had their own insecurities, their dynamics of how they dealt with the drama. And I don't know if it's because it's just us two dynamic, so there's no one to talk to about each other.
Sure.
But the way they would talk about each other and not deal with the issue until it came to a head, that's not representative of true friendship. I get it. The show needed the drama for it to be resolved.
Maybe they were friends and not best friends, even though they said they were.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because I kind of get what you're saying. It's representative of there are a lot of relationships out there that are in that zone.
Mm-hmm.
When do you know a friendship isn't beneficial to you, right? And these friendships went on for multiple seasons until some of them got to the crossroads of, you know what? Enough is enough. And it was drawn out so long that it just came to a head to where it's like, and it's ending. You know what I mean? And a lot of relationships have done that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Does that make sense what I'm saying? Because like, for instance, Joan and Tony.
Yeah.
They went at it,
Season 6, I think. She didn't come back for 7 or something like that.
Right, but they stopped talking.
Yeah.
To the point where Joan would, she was so done, but she wasn't done because she was constantly bringing up that relationship even when she wasn't around. I mean, granted in mean-spiritedness, but, she was still connected. It's like, just when do you let that friendship go? I mean, they all had special bonds in different ways, whether it was work or school or childhood or something like that, right?
And I think they ultimately were there, or at least they tried to be there for each other. But there were times where, I question, how do you let a disagreement or how do you let you not agreeing with someone keep you from supporting your friend or being there in their need?
And then the other thing, friendships is a constant state, right? You know what I mean? Like, you have to constantly keep working at it, okay? You can't just say, we're friends, and then assume that you're going to be friends for life. You have to constantly work at it, and you have to constantly change the dynamic as each of you change, right?
As you grow.
And I think with them, a lot of their connection was history. And sometimes you have to be okay with respecting the history, but still saying, yeah, this isn't working. I need to let it go.
Yeah.
Before you get to that mean-spirited place, right?
And honestly, if I look at it, I think the best friends were Joan and William.
Dude, I so was going to say that. I swore you beat me to the punch because I was going to say the realest person on her team was him.
Yeah.
And he really cared about her. Did he like her though? Because see.
Think so at a point.
I didn't watch. I was in and out the later years. Real talk. William was for Joan 100%. But do you think that it was masked around a crush, admiration turned into I'm putting my time in for her to realize that I'm the one for her?
I think he did like her. Like, I don't know if
but
it was the beginning. Yes.
So, yeah, that's
well,
a good point.
because I think part of it is he realized it wasn't going anywhere. I think there was a crush there. But to me, it just signified he truly loved her. Meaning, I'm going to do what's good for me and find someone who I want to be with.
Yeah.
But I do love you enough to include you in my wedding, to make sure you feel important, to make sure my lady knows you're important. And they did a good job of bringing her in.
Yes.
And I don't think
she did a very good job of staking her claim that
yes.
This is my man.
And I think Joan did a very good job of making sure she didn't cross those boundaries too.
Although, a little rabbit hole, if they got together, do you think they would have made it?
No, because Joan wasn't ready.
Okay.
Joan wasn't ready.
Okay.
I don't even think she was ready when, at the end of, didn't she get with...
I know she got with the Malik Yoba character.
No, that wasn't the end. That didn't last.
Okay.
It was...
See, this is where I'm in and out. You're going to have to... Anything you say, it could be real at this point. I'm trusting you.
Can't remember if he was the Marine. He was the Marine at the end.
I think I do remember that.
Yeah. I think Aaron was his name.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I think she wasn't ready until that character. Because part of it was she had to find herself.
Yeah. And the cool thing about the show is watching their journey. That was the first time I
Yes.
felt like, because with Living Single,
They
I felt
already
like they were established.
Yes.
A few characters had a little changes, but for the most part, they were who they were. They didn't change from that. And this
Yeah.
was the first time you saw each of them go down
Grow.
this roller coaster
Mhm.
of,
Self-discovery.
of who they are meant to be. And at the end, they were totally different from where they started, including Lynn. I think Lynn had the biggest growth.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think for her, she benefited the most out of them, of receiving the tough love from her girlfriends and using that as not an excuse to get angry. I don't think she got really mad with anybody, but she used it as a tool to better her life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will say for her, she was the one felt like, okay, they're telling me this because they love me. You know what I mean? And didn't, you're not my friend anymore type of thing. Yeah. Okay. What about Pam and Gina from Martin?
I
love
love
me
them
some
too.
Martin.
Yeah.
I love them. Listen, I don't care about Martin and Tommy because
Tommy loved him some Pam.
yes, Tommy loved him some Pam and Martin loved him some Gina. I'll give him that. But them two.
Yeah.
And I don't think.
Because they were roommates too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that's the type of friendship where, I mean, I'm sure there was for a little laugh here and there, but truly, I don't ever really remember them ever really going at it. That was the first time I feel like, unless I'm wrong, I don't remember them really ever having like fights. Maybe little simple trivial things, but not like fights where they're not talking for several episodes. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't recall that either.
They were true.
They were true thick as thieves.
I got your back, like no questions asked. Who we fighting?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially Pam. She was always whatever Gina need, and she made sure Martin was in check.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Listen, I feel like for whoever you're with, I am your Pam. And for whoever I'm with, aka tech support, you are my Pam. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, I don't care. Because honestly, they were the most similar. You know what I mean? Like, they both worked at the same corporate job, right? Because they worked together. They were work besties that bled into their personal world. I don't feel like they had a history like they went to high school together type dynamic.
I don't remember that.
I feel like they worked together.
I remember, because like I always bled in. They were on house party together.
Listen, that's
so
not
I
fair.
always bled
So was Martin, by
in.
the way.
Like,
Yeah, so is Martin, by the way. Right.
I know, I always bled that in. Like, y'all grew up together.
You know what? And little nugget, they were on Little Shop of Horror. I don't know if you remember that. Remember the movie? They were the singers. So listen, so many levels. I'm glad you brought that up because
the chemistry was real.
The chemistry was so real to this day. To this day. They are definitely iconic besties in real world. Tashina Arnold and Tisha Campbell, they are like iconic besties that they don't get the recognition that they deserve. You know, everybody's always on, you know, Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox, you know, but these two were tight from like teens, right?
Yeah.
And then it just, like you said, it bled into the screen. Them as Pam and Gina, you felt that relationship. So I think probably,
because it was real.
Who knows? They made a fought to keep that dynamic of, I need you to have our voice.
Yeah.
Have it like us. If you want this to work, I need it to be Tashina and Tisha, not Pam and Gina. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they were work besties. I'm pretty confident on that. Always were ready to go to battle for each other.
Always.
And they always had each other's best in mind. There was never jealousy. For the most part, Pam was always single or dating, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she had the relationship with Tommy, but that was later seasons. And their dynamic, you never saw them, oh, she married and she's single, and judging each other over the choices they made in love. Does that make sense?
Yep.
She may have not cared for Martin, but
they grew with each
it.
other. Yeah. They grew with each other.
Exactly. It never, because we've talked about this on different podcasts where it's like, can you be friends after marriage, or these deep relationships with a man, and they never ever let whatever was going on with Martin and Gina affect them. And same thing with Tommy. Even when, you know, oh crap, you're dating my man's best friend. If this don't work out, there was never a question of that. It was just their dynamic always flowed, and the world around them just worked around them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Their friendship was center.
Wow. That might actually, with Cher and Dion, might be kind of tied for, you know, my thoughts on if you had to mimic some friends, there were some friends that you wanted to mimic. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. Okay. Did you watch Friends?
I did. I mean, I think I don't think
You
I
were
watched
more of a
it.
Sex and the City girl, right?
Yeah, but again, I didn't watch it, I guess, all the way through.
Right.
It was bits and pieces. Same thing with Friends. I think I may have caught the whole, I think they were 10 seasons after it went off air. You know, Netflix is, you know, beautiful thing.
Right. You get to revisit stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's jump into Sex and the City, though.
Okay.
That was the one that you probably watch more so
Yeah.
than Friends. Okay.
I like the movies.
You know, it's so funny. I have a love-hate for Sex and the City.
Why?
I watch episodes. I kind of know some of the boyfriends.
They
I
did
never
have drama.
like watched a full season episode back to back to back. I was always in and out, in and out, in and out, like maybe 2 or 3 a season. That was me. And the movies did help because if you watch the whole thing, there's all this stuff going down.
And the
versus...
movie stayed true to the TV show.
Right. So that helped a little. But the reason why I had a love-hate is because with Living Single, I was so happy. It's almost like when you're a brown kid and you're in this world of Barbies. It was so cool to see the different colors of Barbies that represented you. And with Living Single, it was like, okay, Black women are not just one way.
Yeah.
There are all these layers. So I guess I took it for that because it represented more me and the relationships I have with Black women. But with Sex and the City, it took me back to that place of, are you a Carrie, Samantha,
Yeah.
or are you a Charlotte, or are you a Miranda? And it just felt like women and men, depending on your attitude, oh, there you go, acting like a Miranda. And it was almost like a bad thing. Like, to me, Sex and the City, their friendships were so much more, all these layers, all these growths and with all of them. But yet that was the first time that I associated negativity of putting women in boxes. Does that make sense?
And they did it a lot. I mean, that was part of, you would take quizzes.
Yes.
Because the show was so big, they would, I mean, the marketing was around that.
They never even did that with Friends. I mean, we can brush past them,
Yeah,
but they never
really
even
didn't.
did that with Friends. It was almost cool to pick, are you Monica, or are you Phoebe, or are you Rachel? That's the difference. If we're gonna, let's bleed them in. With that dynamic with Friends, it was cool to be one of those girls, right? If you're into the show. Nobody fought, well, I'm the Rachel already. It was cool to be Monica. It was cool to be Phoebe. But with this, it seemed like what I experienced is if you got pegged as one, there was always a negative connotation toward it. Like, I think I was pegged as Charlotte, but it was always like, oh, you think you're the prudy one. And I wasn't that prude, but it was like, it was a negative vibe to be the prudish one, right?
I can see that.
And if you were exploring your sexuality, just enjoying life, living your best life, that's not how you were if they picked you to be Samantha. You were the slut, and that's not fair. Samantha was just living her life. Living her best life, you know? And the same thing with Miranda. It's like, oh, you're smart, but you're not as pretty. That's not fair. She got men too. And I think she got some good men at times, you know? And the same thing with Carrie. What is the negative?
I don't remember what it was said. For me, it was, when it came to men, her love life was just atrocious.
Got it. Just unlucky in love?
No, she just made bad choices.
Okay. Not good with decisions. But there was always some negativity connected to them. I think that's probably why I was always I shied away from that show.
Yeah, she was good with fashion, but when it came to spending money and being an adult, no.
Yeah, that's the only thing. And there is so much more to that. Like, I appreciate the movies because, for instance, I remember the one movie where Samantha Samantha I think that was when she was dealing with cancer. So that was good to see. I think the first one. No, I'm sorry. It was brought up that she had cancer. Because the guy she was with was a young guy. He was a young actor.
No, I think by the movie they broken up.
No, they did. In the movie, they broke up. But they were together. That was her longest relationship. But hear me out and then correct me if I'm wrong. So how I remember it is, you're right. The cancer wasn't in that movie, but it was brought up that guy was around when she was going through all that.
Oh, yes. That was not the first
movie.
She
had a guy that... it might have been the second one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was just brought. It was brought up because I think he was filming a movie in Dubai.
In Dubai, that's how the girls end up going.
Yes, and then because she was, promoter.
Yeah,
she worked in advertising and marketing. He hooked her up with some guy who owned all these hotels in Dubai and got her and her 3 girlfriends basically an all expense paid trip to Dubai. But
I remember hearing all the things that they said, how this was the first time that because again, I'm in and out, that it seemed like she was with a dude, even though he was pretty, that she was with a dude more than for him being pretty. He was there when she was at her low, and they seemed to have been together for a long time. And so I saw this growth. And even when they decided to call it quits, they respected each other. So it showed me growth in how Samantha treated men. Is that accurate to say? I can have conversations with people, but I don't know the whole story.
I think what happened was he was with her through cancer. She basically gave up her life in New York and moved to California to kickstart his. Can't remember how long. I want to say it was about 2 years that her life revolved around him and his stardom. And she came back to New York for, I don't know, it was an event or something with the girls, and she had gained weight, and they called her on it.
Yes, I do.
And she's like, she's not taking care of herself. It's all about him. She wasn't happy. So that's when she realized, I gotta do me.
Yeah, that's maturity, I think, like choosing you first. So there was moments of, and even Carrie getting with Mr. Big, and there's these beautiful endings of showing that these ladies had wonderful growth, and that to me wasn't celebrated enough. It seems like I always remember that it wasn't good if someone pegged you as one of those girls. Yeah. What about Sister?
I love, but see, it's different.
Love me some Tia and Tamara.
They were sisters.
Tia Tamara, wait, Tia Tamara, wait, Tia Tamara, wait, Tia Tamara.
They had to, and they were twins.
They were twins.
Of course, they're besties.
Listen, but there's something to be said. Even though I love this, so we're going to talk about it because I love Tia and Tamara. Like they're, oh my gosh. I feel like if I met them, we could all be besties. That's just... I'm putting it out there.
So
somebody make it happen. Listen, I said we. Girl, I said we. You see? Don't do that to me now.
Okay.
But I said we. But I feel like what it'd be is them against us. And sometimes you'd hang out the one that had your personality. And you know what I mean? And then we all come back together and they hang and we hang. And it'd be kind of, I like that. But no, they are twins. So it should be innate. And even though on that show, they grew up separated. And then here they are coming up discovering how to make it work. This dynamic showed that it's not necessarily a given to be friends with your family. And there are some people who grew up hating their sisters and brothers. So there's something to be said because you saw them on this journey of getting to know each other and coming to the end tight as ever. And I think they cheated a little bit. That twin connection helped, but they had to grow into their differences becoming best friends, right?
That's true, because they grew up differently.
Exactly. Even the parents had to learn to be friends.
Well, and then too, one had a mom, one had a dad.
Right.
So those experiences in themselves are very different.
Exactly. And then, one grew up less fortunate than the other. You even had that dynamic, right? Yeah, I loved them because they were so, and that's the other thing too. They were so wholesome and they did stuff,
And they were still different.
They were still different. And such a purity to their friendship. Even the older they got, there was such a level of no matter, because they had boyfriends and, they were going down different roads of life choices and stuff, even though they were still in college. But their friendship was still, there was this level of purity to it. The end versus the beginning was still an essence of being similar. Does that make sense?
Yes.
They kept this, purity to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love their dynamic. Aw. And go home, Roger. I loved. Because they were so mean to Roger, but they knew.
They were mean to Roger.
They were mean to Roger. Listen, yes, they were. They were mean to young Roger when older Roger started looking cute, like he's supposed to, from the singing group Immature. Shout out Marcus Houston. He's cute. He's cute. The older and cuter he got, they were nicer to him.
He was aggravating.
Because he was a pipsqueak.
He was aggravating.
And then he got a little muscle. And then they started like, oh, hey, Roger.
Really?
Y'all remember that?
I remember.
Okay.
He was aggravating.
None of them ended up with Roger. I was kind of hoping somebody would end up with Roger. I'm serious. I really hope one of them would end up with Roger. I was hoping he would be a brother-in-law. Because they were
dynamics. No, but the dynamics as far as being the pesky younger neighbor. Because he was younger, right?
He was.
Yeah.
He just grew up to be taller. Anyways, so let's kind of start wrapping this up. I know we're real live besties, right? And we know what makes our dynamic work. But out of all these besties, iconic besties that we named, what is one of the characters that you feel something that they got right or an essence of them can be applied to our relationship or seems most representative of our relationship and how it works? That's a good one, right?
Yeah, I guess I've really never really thought about it. I mean, our relationship is our relationship. And, I think it has changed as we've gotten older, as we've matured, as we've experienced different things. I think it's a little bit combination between maybe Pam and Gina and Regine and Khadijah from the standpoint of we grew up together. I mean, I may not have known you when you were 5, but I knew you when you were 16. So,
and we've had a lot of time in.
High school us isn't the same. No. We're different in our 30s.
Yeah.
We've grown up. But knowing that history, I think at the core, we're the same people we were.
Yeah, sure.
But life experiences have changed our outlooks and things. So I think it's that combination because when you meet someone later in life and you don't have that history, sometimes you might not understand why things affect them or why they deal with certain things. Because we have that history, we're able to look beneath the surface to figure out what's really going on.
You know what? So I'm going to say combo as well, but I was going to say the sister-sister dynamic and Gina and Pam. Here's why. So with sister-sister, I think we had to grow into liking each other. Not that I'm saying
you didn't like me.
No, listen. I didn't hate you. Honestly, in reality, let me clean that up.
No, don't clean it up.
No,
just
I'm
leave
being
it just
truthful.
like it is. I get it. Okay,
No,
you didn't like me.
Shut up. I can't
Such
stand
it.
you.
Oh,
I can't stand you. Let me be great. Listen, no, we didn't know each other. It wasn't we hated each other, because if we hated each other, we wouldn't even talk to each other in that last day of class, right? We wouldn't have. It just, we weren't on each other's radar like that.
That's
But
true.
and it's the same thing with sister. They weren't on each other's radar. They just ran into each other in the store, and it's like, whoa, you look like me. I look like you. And so it's kind of the same thing with us. We got stuck in this class. How? Why? Just us two? What? And then we kind of got smacked together, and then as we're talking, we connected, and that
because you were being blessed with me as your bestie. That's all. It was all supposed to
continue
happen.
to be blessed with me. But we were very fortunate to find each other, and everything else was just a building stone to
That's
this
true.
epic arc of being Gina and Pam, right?
Okay.
And here we are. We went the sister route of finding our lane of how we work, and then when we got there, you would have thought we were like that since 5.
That's true.
We always had each
did,
other's
yeah.
back,
From
no
the very
matter
beginning.
what. Yeah, even when you went to FSU and I went to UNF, and
Your fault I went to
I know,
FSU because
I
you were
know.
supposed to go too.
I know. But even amidst of having these avenues of changes, we always were there for each other. You know what I mean? And even if life got busy, we we came back and
Yeah,
stronger, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we waited for each other. We always wait, root, support, and love each other. And like I said, Gina and Pam, they're ones to mimic, but I think, we are our own Gina and Pam. Mohazel and Ms.Glam, hi. Badass Besties. Put that little plug in. Subscribe. Anyways, but that's what I got out of that. So, okay, with that being said, I love you.
Oh, I'm supposed to say it back?
Yeah, have fun. That's all right. You know what? You already in the spirit of my next segment. Our next segment is Petty Word of the Day. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Clearly, you are.
Actually, my petty word isn't about you.
I got to tell people.
I know, but it's not.
That's fine.
I wasn't being mean to you.
You know what? Here's how I know we think alike. I wasn't being mean to you this episode either. So Petty Word of the Day. It's where we take a word out the dictionary. Usually, Mohazel likes to take a long one.
That she can't pronounce.
Right. True. Facts. And we learn it, absorb it, and then we put it in sentences to teach it to you out there. But how we do it on the show is we put it in pretty petty sentences. So with that being said, Ms. Glam, you may go first.
My word is vagary, and it's a noun, and it means an erratic, unpredictable, or extravagant manifestation, action, or notion. Got all that?
I got it.
Okay.
Rewind.
So, my sentence: we have so far weathered the vagaries of tech support's behavior, but an issued pink slip may be needed before season 4.
Go home, Roger.
Frederick, bring me my wine.
Oh, God. So we have this thing where we call him Frederick. His name is not Frederick. Only podcast day do we act like he's the butler as well as tech support. And we appreciate him being a good player.
Because he always has our wine, and he makes sure that we're, situated.
Sounding good.
We have to, give him a hard time about it. When you spoil us.
Wow.
When you spoil us, we get used to it. You can't then turn it off.
Are you
Frederick, I need my wine.
I know. I'm not even going to pronounce that on air. He over here making a symbol that we ain't going to talk about. We'll tell you off the air. Y'all can't know that. Frederick being fresh. That's what he being. All right. So my word is trouvaille. It's a noun. Something lovely discovered by chance. Trouvaille. After junior year semester of side-eye and silence, on the last day of school, an interesting trouvaille was birthed between Mohazel and Ms.Glam, and the rest is history.
Oh, really? So you're going to be sweet?
I am.
I guess I have to say I love you now, huh?
You should.
Okay,
I'm waiting.
I just did.
No, I need to hear it. I'm waiting.
I just did. I just said. I guess I'm saying I love you now.
Say it.
I just did.
Look at me in my retina.
I just said.
What'd you say?
I told you.
What'd you say?
That I had to say I love you.
Now say I love you.
I did.
Girl, don't make this podcast longer than it need to be. I'm not leaving until you say I love you.
Well, possibly. I love you.
Oh, I'll take it. Hey.
Take it back.
No. Before we go there, you ain't got nothing else to say, right, Ms. Glam?
Until next time.
And we are out.